Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And if you're seeing me for the first time, I'm glad to have you here as well. And the usual thing would be to say to new viewers would be that they should please subscribe to the channel and of course turn on notification bell. But I'm going to do that a bit differently in this video, and what I would encourage you to do is to just hold on and watch this video to the very end so that you could make an informed decision if this is the kind of channel that you think would be useful for you. If you derive any value from this video, at the end, then I think you most likely have had the conviction at that time that this is sort of channel that can provide you with this sort of information or value that you're looking for. So I'm happy for you to just watch the video to the very end and then make a decision of subscribing, liking, sharing, and all of that at the end of the video. So again, I'm glad that you're here. And in today's video, what I would like to talk about is more or less a follow-up to my last video where I mentioned that if you're coming to the UK for a program, a degree program, whether it's bachelors, masters, or at doctoral level, and your intention is to leverage that program to start your settlement journey in the UK, then you need to fully understand what provisions the graduate visa or the post-study work visa, what provisions it gives you, and how you should prepare yourself towards taking advantage of that provision and then getting your settlement journey started. But before I get into this video fully, I would like to make a very simple appeal, and that appeal is about the questions that I've received since uploading the last video. Some of those questions have been, were sent to me on Facebook Messenger and others to me directly on WhatsApp. I mean, I definitely appreciate, those messages, and I'm glad that, I'm doing something that people find useful. But if you remember the very first video that I made about the objective of this channel, it was largely about the fact that I've been getting these sort of questions before now, and then I just find out that it's not very efficient, responding to every individual that asks me these questions personally. So what I've decided to do is to, document whatever information that I want to pass across, on this channel, and then of course I know that would also help to reach a lot more people. So I just want to encourage you that if you have questions, I think it will be more efficient and also be more useful, as I believe that others will benefit from your questions, and also you could even get more insight from others through their contribution. So I think it'll be better if we just drop those questions in the comment section. I'll try as much as possible to go through them and provide answers to the best of my knowledge. So thank you very much. So let's just get into what this video is about. Again, just a bit of background to what the point that I'm trying to make in this video. And this background is about the fact that do not be deceived that there are plenty of jobs in the UK, and that your 2 years after study would just be enough time for you to get any type of job that will allow your settlement journey to kickstart in the UK. Indeed, there are plenty of jobs, but there are not enough jobs that would guarantee your stay in the UK after your graduate program, and if you decide to get on the post-study work visa. So the point of this video is to help you to take steps that would increase your chances of getting a job that would allow you to continue to stay in the UK, at least permanently. And if you would understand this point correctly, you just have to think about what the situation was before now, graduate students or international students generally, when they come into the UK, and then after the completion of their program, they typically have had about 4 months, which through which you could look for a job, and then if you're lucky, if you're fortunate, you get a job and then you stay back. But what you would have noticed is that not many international students eventually succeed in that route. It typically didn't happen as most people wanted it to, and I will tell you why. Indeed, these jobs exist. There are jobs here, but employers are also in the game of making profits, and they want to be very sure that whatever investment they are putting on any applicant or any prospective employee that they are bringing in will yield the sort of benefit that they want. What that means is that if a company is happy to bring you in to the organization at any point in time, one of the things they'll be looking forward to do is retaining you for as long as they can, to enjoy whatever value you are able to provide. However, how long the employer is also able to benefit from this value that you're able to create will depend on your visa status. And if an employer would be ready to ensure that you have the type of visa that would allow them to benefit long term from employing you, then they have to pay the price. Not all employers are willing to pay that price. So this is exactly what makes getting the sort of job that will ensure that you continue to stay in the UK permanently. This is what makes those type of jobs very, very competitive. So you get the point. If it's just about getting any type of job, you would find most likely on your day one getting into the UK. I mean, you would most likely have been able to confirm this from talking to current students in the UK who are both studying and working at the same time, trying to support their education. But if your plan is to eventually settle in the UK, I think you need to continue watching this video, because you need to position yourself to be among the very few international students that will get those type of jobs that will allow them to stay permanently in the UK. And that is why I will talk about you switching from either a student visa or a graduate visa to another type of visa that the employer those type of jobs would allow you to get. And that type of visa is called the skilled worker visa. Now, getting the skilled worker visa should be your ultimate aim if your plan is to use the graduate route to get settlement in the UK. Generally, the skilled worker visa would allow you to stay for up to 5 years in the UK, and you'll be able to do an eligible job. And this visa itself, you could extend it for as many times as you would like to. And of course, after your 5 years staying on that visa in the UK, you would qualify to apply to stay in the UK permanently, which people typically call permanent residency, or in the UK, indefinite leave to remain. When you look at the skilled worker visa, the eligibility criteria would be you'll be most likely familiar with the eligibility criteria. I would assume that by the time you're looking at that visa, you're already in the UK, as a student, and then you understand what it means to apply for, a UK visa. So what I would do is to point out the very critical eligibility criteria that you need to start working on right now. And those are the sort of eligibility criteria that would distinguish you from all other international students. So generally, this eligibility criteria are about you understanding what type of jobs you need to look out for, and the employers that you need to target within the field that you are interested in, and how to position yourself. I'll talk about that. Generally speaking, there are certain jobs that are eligible for the skilled worker visa. And those jobs you can get in a link that has been provided by the UK government. I'll put a link to the web page where you can see a list of these eligible occupations. When you click on that link, you would see a list of eligible occupations, both their names and also the occupation code. If you can't find the particular job that you would like to target on the list, there is another page that I will put also in the description box. On that page, once you open the link and you will see a box, in the link that asks you to put in the occupation name so that you can generate an occupation code. Then once you have put in an occupation name, you have the code generated already, you can then go back to the eligible occupation list page and just do Control F to look for that occupation code. That means the job you are targeting is eligible for a skilled worker visa. That is one. The other thing is that you would need to look for an employer within this your eligible job that would be willing and able to offer you a certificate of sponsorship, which is called shortly COS in the UK. The certificate of sponsorship is just what an employer would have to pay for to say, I have found a talent outside of the UK and I'm willing to sponsor that talent to come work for me. You need that certificate to apply for a skilled worker visa. The other requirement would be about the salary that you will be offered to do that job. There's also a salary requirement. Generally, you would most likely meet this because most of these jobs already understand that there will be a salary range. And generally, this salary range could be anywhere between £21,000 per annum to maybe around £31,000 per annum. I don't think that would be difficult for you to to find those kind of jobs. Now, getting this skilled worker visa the process actually starts before your program begins. And this is what I mean. There are a number of steps that you would need to consider both before, during, and after your program to be able, to increase your chances of getting the skilled worker visa. And I will try to, just present some of these steps in a way, to make you put them to work. The first thing that I would say is that you'd have to be very strategic about your choice of course and your choice of institution. Now, I'll start with the institution part. One thing that I've noticed is that just because a lot of people want to, move to the UK and they know that they can, at least leverage, a master's program, for instance, or a doctoral program to at least spend up to like 3 years in the UK. They just want to put in an application, or, I've seen people that have put in an application to just any type of school. Now, please don't fall for that trap. The UK has a lot of institutions, universities here and there. And to be very frank with you, not all of these institutions are worthwhile in terms of your strategy to stay, permanently in the UK. This is what I mean. You are planning to get a job, and employers also are looking for talents. Usually, employers that are looking for talent and are looking to get these talents from, universities, they have a list of schools that they go to, and they don't go to all schools. So, what I think you should do is to make that job easier for the employer by making yourself available for the employer in the schools or in the universities that the employers typically go to. Now, I understand that at times this decision to pick any school could be about you thinking that some of these schools are very competitive and all of that. Don't think about it that way. I'm not saying you should only apply to the top 10 universities in the UK. I'm not saying you should apply only to the top 5. What I'm saying is that get a decent enough school. Get a school that is decent enough. I'll be very careful not to mention the name of any university on this video, but what I can tell you to do is to look into the ranking of the school that you are planning to put in application into. Now, be very careful when you're looking at ranking. It is very possible for a school to be highly ranked generally or low, have a low rank generally, but in a particular field, the school has a different ranking. For instance, a school has a low ranking generally, but in a particular type of field, the school is well known. For instance, I know a particular university in the UK today that if you're looking to study development studies, that is the go-to school. And when you look at the same university, in terms of overall rating, it is not one of the top schools. So you would have to do a good job at least getting a school that is decent enough, a mid-rank school, not the lowest of the lowest schools. The reason for this is that you would have positioned yourself for employers to find you. You will get to know this when you start your program. The other thing that I mentioned is the course of study. Don't just come to study anything just because you want to come to the UK. There are a lot of courses in the UK. As a matter of fact, when you check online, you'll be amazed at the sort of diverse opportunities that you'd have, especially when you're coming for a master's program. But I think you should think about programs that would obtain within industries or fields that are in high demand in the UK. And I could mention some of these areas. The UK is, service driven. And that means that if you are thinking about high demand jobs, you'll find them in professional services, you'll find them in banking, you'll find them in finance, you'll find them in IT, you'll find them in tech, you'll find them in education, you'll find them in healthcare, you'll find them in engineering, you'll find them in data science, you'll find them in designs, and so on. I understand that you're coming from a particular background, but the UK has also made it very easy for you. This is one of the climbs that I know that if you search very well, no matter what your background is, you can make any switch, career switch, academic, field switch in the UK. I know of, for instance, in this same academic, session, people or students that are coming that from backgrounds like have someone from, say, a social science background and the person is now in healthcare, or vice versa. This is very possible. You only need to search, look for admission requirements. Most times they are very flexible. If you are not very certain, write to the school, send an email, request, make your situation known, and you'll be amazed at the sort of response that you would get. Please be strategic about the school and the course that you would choose. If you are confused about this choice, I am happy to help. Just drop a note in the comment section. Let me know what your situation is, what you are looking to do, and I could come up with something that you find interesting. Another thing that I think you should put at the back of your mind if you are thinking about getting a skilled worker visa is do well on your program. Please, I won't go into the argument of make a strong grade if that is still useful in the workplace and all of that. This channel is not cut out for that. But what I would advise you, especially if you're coming for, say, a bachelor's program, aim at getting at least a 2-1. You would know why by the time you start applying either for internships or you start applying for jobs, and you begin to wonder why a number of job adverts are mentioning certain grades as minimum requirement. This might be a little bit different if you are coming in for a master's. Usually no one talks about grade requirement, but if you are thinking about making a career switch, or you have very limited experience in the area where you are switching, your current field, the only thing that you would have to speak for you during your job applications would be the knowledge you acquired during the program and the story about what you did and how you finished or your performance on that program. This might most likely not be, you won't find this on any job, advert. Usually job adverts will typically tell you they require a master's, they just tell you you need a master's. They typically wouldn't ask you for, your grade. But I've had cases of, applicants that got on the interview and in talking about, their performance in the program, the employer just wasn't, impressed. So please do well on your program. Another thing is that you should use the time that you spend on your program also to network strongly within your chosen field. Now, you could do this by, attending career events, go to the career consulting unit of your school, talk to people there, get the contacts of people within your industry. Go on LinkedIn, search for people, connect with them, and start building that network. This is very important. You would find it very useful in your job search eventually. Another thing I think it would be very useful for you is that you should seek help very early enough. By this, I mean talk to people. Do not be shy about your plan. Look for people who have done what you are trying to do. Look for people who have moved to the UK, got a job, or who moved to the UK, came as a student, and then somehow just discovered that they didn't travel back home, they stayed back and they're working. That means they did something right. Talk to them, ask them about their game plan, ask them what they did right, ask them what they think you should be doing at the moment. Of course, I'm providing that sort of information at the time, but it's never too much. Look for more people, talk to people, ask questions. If you have specific questions for me particularly, drop them in the comment section and I would respond to them. Another thing that I think you should do is that you should help employers to employ you. That means right now, learn how to craft a very powerful and an excellent CV. Learn what employers, UK employers specifically, are looking for in a typical CV. Learn also how to write a convincing cover letter, especially if you have a unique story. That story wouldn't be seen on your CV. If you're coming from a place where you do not have experience, you're coming to make a career switch, start right now. Start writing your story in your cover letter. What do you think that an employer would read and fully understand what you are trying to do? This will be very helpful. Also, start preparing yourself for performing very well on interviews. These things start right now, and you don't necessarily have to wait until you finish your program or until you start your program. These are the things you need to start working on. You will be competing with a lot of people from diverse countries to get a job that would allow you to get a skilled worker visa. So you need to put in the work. If indeed you want to be the one, you want to be that candidate, you want to be that applicant that employers are happy to sponsor, that employers are happy, to employ. Of course, the other thing that I think you would have to do is that join your program. Please normalize internship applications. Start from day one. Start looking for internship opportunities everywhere and put in application. Apply to the very relevant ones. Most of these internships, will be paid and you'll make, good cash for yourself. But more importantly is the fact that some of these internships will give you the opportunity to go back to that same organization to pick up a permanent job offer. Where that is not, available, then you will leverage that experience to get most likely even a better opportunity. These things start now. I cannot emphasize this enough because I've seen cases and I know people at the moment that are already feeling like they wouldn't get anything after their program. Talk to people and you find this. It's very difficult to get the sort of job that will allow you to achieve your purpose of coming to study in the UK. I know it is very expensive and you don't want to just let that go into waste. The responsibility lies on you. You need to start doing something now. I'm quite very, serious and particular about it because I've had questions from a lot of people, and in the conversations that I've had, not many people are actually putting in the right game plan. So please go over this video again, look at these points, write them somewhere. Every day, start acting towards achieving the points that I've mentioned. And if you have any question whatsoever, please do not hesitate to drop them in the comment section. I will try as much as possible to respond to these questions. And I think we could just, put it, just put a stop to it there. I know there will be a lot of questions and the other things to talk about. I'm happy to respond to those. And please, if you have derived any form of value from this video, what you could just do is to get this video to reach more people by sharing the video and also making me know that indeed you enjoyed the video by liking the video. So there's a thumbs up button, somewhere, down there that you can just click and just register your reaction. And if you are yet to subscribe and you actually like this sort of content, please, I want to be sure that I'm doing something right. So please do subscribe. And as I said at the beginning of the video, this is your first time and you found this useful now, I'll be happy to have you join this family. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for staying with me this end. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in my next video. God bless you.